All right, Mr. Riley. So what do we have here?
Well, this is the near final draft of the Seniors of Peace address,
Wow.
the Iron Curtain speech
Wow.
that Churchill gave here at Westminster College on March 5th, 1946, nearly 75 years ago. This is the draft that he was working on in the embassy of in Washington, the night before he got on the train with President Truman to come to Missouri.
Wow.
And if you see here, these are the pages written out in the type of speech presentation that Churchill preferred, almost like poetry. And it wasn't like you and I would write a speech, or at least I write speeches. He puts like stanzas, which helps him deliver the text. But this particular speech, or this draft, is very prescient in that you can see the last minute changes he makes. Here's the famous page. From Stettin in the Baltic to Trieste in the Adriatic, an iron curtain has descended across the continent. It's typed out, no changes, but in the bottom here it says, all of these cities and capitals lie in the Soviet sphere. Yeah, that's a great line.
Yep.
He's talking about Bucharest. All these things behind the Iron Curtain lie in the Soviet sphere.
Sure.
The last minute, he adds a little note here, and if you look closely, you can see it. There's a shorthand note. Lie, and he says, in what I must call the Soviet sphere. Churchill's personalizing it. It's not just the Soviet sphere.
Wow.
He's saying he knows he's Winston Churchill.
Right.
And he's just said,
Right.
I've said things, people don't listen. I'm mistake. So I'm gonna ramp this up.
Wow.
Because it's almost he's stamping his own authority. Wow. And so those little differences.
Yeah, that's a nuance.
So if you listen to
Sure.
the final speech, you'll say, in what I must call the Soviet sphere. And those last minute changes in a document like this, where you begin to get inside Churchill's head.
Yeah.
And you see the change, and it's fascinating. And we actually are going to exhibit this next year in March.
Okay.
In its entirety. There are 50 folios, and
Wow.
we're going to show them all as part of an exhibition for the 75th anniversary of the speech.
Wow.
But I wanted you to see,
Yes.
and the viewers to see a little bit of how Churchill saw his speeches. from that lectern that we saw earlier in the galleries, where he gave the speech. This is the near final draft that he's putting the final touches on, and the rest is history.
This is a very special treat. Thank you. All right, so Mr. Riley, I've taken a lot of your time today, so I have one other question for you, and again, this is one that you've already answered, through the discourse that we've had today, and everything I'm trying to do with Fight in the Shade, and we've talked about Arc of Justice, Advocates for Wounded Warriors, which people who follow me, they know what that is. I don't need to get into it here. I try and give hope. We try and give hope. We try and tell people, hey, you can endure, you can fight, you can overcome adversity. There's actually a doctrine for special operations where one of the chapters is, what does a United States special operator do, whether they're a Navy SEAL, Army Ranger, Green Beret? We wade into uncertainty and prevail. And so that's kind of like our foci here, which is obviously what Churchill did. So with everything, wrapping it up, and again, I'm going for like the 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds, the young people who maybe don't like America, or they hate America, they don't know their history. So if there's anything else, and feel free to restate anything you have said, but I just want to give you one more opportunity. What do you think Winston Churchill would say to the next generation of those who are coming up in Western civilization? What would he close with to them as a final charge?
I would say that he would like the words you just used, wade into adversity, but he might take it further. He would say dive in and swim. He loved to bathe, he loved the beach, he loved that, and I think
great.
That to extend that metaphor, he would say that there will be currents that take you away from the path you think you should be going, but fight strong. Sometimes don't fight too strong, or the riptide will take you out to sea. Be malleable, but don't fear adversity. Use the tools that you were given through education, through history, through language, through alliance building. These are just very fundamental principles that it's so easy, particularly today when our politics seem so divisive.
Right.
The idea of building alliances with someone who doesn't necessarily agree with you,
right,
is is anathema.
Right.
I mean, but Churchill would remind us that that's necessary.
Right.
You know, we were allies with the Soviet Union during World War II.
That's right.
We didn't agree, and clearly after, with the Iron Curtain speech, you know, we then went back to fighting, you know, that battle and discourse. But it was necessary to
Right.
work together.
Right.
And I think that's the lesson that we can take from Churchill. That is perhaps most important.
That's a great way to end. All right, so Fight in the Shade followers, you know what I'm about to do next, and so you know, Mr. Riley, I don't know how familiar you are with military culture, but in it, if someone does something absolutely outstanding that that has been done with excellence and deserving of recognition, we have something called the military coin of excellence. And typically when I would transfer it to you, I would shake your hand and give it to you. But in the age of coronavirus, we're not going to do that. All right. And I'm just telling like my soldiers, because they will criticize me. They're like, you need to shake his hand. But we're not going to do that today in the age of coronavirus. So this is a coin that I've actually carried with me for over a year now. And so anytime you give a coin, you know, you want it to cost you something. And so I'm going to try not to get emotional here. This has been a real special day for me because I love Winston Churchill so much. And you are the subject matter expert, you know, one of them in America for sure. And, you know, it's been obvious that you've been so erudite and eloquent, and you know, you've opened up, you know, this library to us when it's closed for renovation, but you gave us a special exception. So I actually wasn't going to give you this coin. I was going to give you another one that doesn't cost me as much, but because you have really gone above and beyond, this is my Stoicism coin, and it has the qualities of temperance, justice, wisdom, and courage. And it says, try not to exchange them for others. And then on the flip side, you know, it has the owl, the lion, the scales of justice, and like an Aristotelian, you know, wisdom. So sir, this is yours. You know, treasure it, and you know, you have really just honored us today with what you've done. And so this is just a small token of my appreciation. The last thing I'll tell you is, so we carry these. You know, so if you're given a coin. You know, the next time I see you, I can do what's called the coin challenge, and I can say, Mr. Riley, you know, do you have your coin that I gave you? And if you have it, then I owe you an adult beverage or libation that Churchill. But if you don't, then you have to take me into the quote room, and you have to give me an adult libation. So you know, I just want you to know how much we appreciate today, and I just want to honor you, sir.
Well, I thank you, and I should say in closing, and thank you for your service to our country, for what you're doing now to help tell the story of Winston Churchill and so many other leaders. You know, I think talking, thinking, the kind of discourse that you clearly are standing for in the types of podcasts you do matter now as much as ever. And so it's been an honor to have you here and to chat with you. And hopefully if a few of your listeners tune in and come visit us, or pick up a book or pick up a paintbrush, whatever it may be, you know, all the better. So again, we're honored that you could visit us, and I'm touched by this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. All right, subscribers. So listen, you know, I have had a great week. It's been a wonderful road trip on the In Defense of America tour. People like Mr. Riley. We've spent some time with Mary Jean Eisenhower. And so more content will be coming soon. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And remember, fight in the shade.